Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Monday, the 22nd of September 2025. Today, well, it was match day, dear viewers, wasn't it? Did you watch it? Did you see? The football and me? This is a match report from millwallfc.co.uk. The Lions beat Watford for a den win. Yes, a 1-0 win. A 1-0 win. A hard-fought, scrappy, ugly, frustrating at times 1-0 win. But hey, a win is a win is a win is a win. Isn't that right? Millwall were 1-0 winners over Watford in the Sky Bet Championship on Monday night. Camille Negley's first half free kick proved to be enough in SC16 as the Lions gained 3 points at the Den. Alex Neil named Turno Ballo and Derek Mazu-Sacco in the starting 11 for the visit of the Hornets, the duo making their home and league debuts respectively, with Massimo Luongo returning from a knock to take a place in the side. Will Smallbone, meanwhile, was among the substitutes. The Lions started on the front foot and advanced into the penalty area on numerous occasions, with the deadlock broken on 10 minutes as Negley flighted a free kick into the back of the net and past Egil Selvik. And it doesn't mention here, but in trying to save that floated free kick, the goalkeeper's hit his head on the post, on the woodwork. They treated him for a bit and he did carry on, but he was to be changed later. He got subbed off at half time. Jake Cooper then prodded an effort over the crossbar from Adamian Maka's corner as the Lions looked to press home their advantage, whilst Imran fouled to trouble Stephen Bender at the other end on 20 minutes, striking over from the edge of the penalty area. Nampalys Mendy did the same moments later. Ryan Leonard won back possession in the box with 22 minutes on the clock and sent a teasing cross into Josh Coburn into the next action, but the striker hit one over before a fantastic through ball from Brian looked for the run of Ballo, only for Watford to be able to shepherd the ball out of play. Cooper peeled away for a free header from a corner kick just before the half-hour mark, but nodded wide with Loser making Bender spring into action at the other end as he palmed an attempt away from goal. Superb defensive work from Leonard turned defence into attack for the Lions as half-time neared, with an opportunity going begging in the final action as Amaku was crowded out by Watford defenders on the edge of the box. Hang on a minute. Watford were forced into a goalkeeping change at the break, and that's the one I mentioned, as Nathan Baxter replaced Selvik between the sticks, and Negley sliced the opening opportunity of the second half wide on 50 minutes. Loser's strike was blocked by Luongo, and the Lions were then made to do some defensive work, which they eventually cleaned up as the ball landed in the grass for Bender. But the Hornets continued to lay siege to Mill's penalty area after the hour mark. A debut for Smallbone was to follow on 67 minutes as he replaced Amaku, and the Southampton loanee was nearly part of a flowing move to contribute towards a second goal as he played a stylish 1-2 with Brian, only for the ball to run away from the latter as he reached the penalty area. Smallbone then won the ball back high up and teed up Ballo, but his attempt was straight at Baxter. Caleb Taylor, Zach Sturge and Langstaff were all introduced with just under 15 minutes to go as they came off of Ballo, Bryan and goal scorer Negley, but the next attempt went the way of the visitors as Nestori Irankunda's long-range strike was beaten away by Bender, Caleb Wiley sending the follow-up effort over. Big penalty claims as Langstaff tumbled in the box went unheard as Josh Smith remained unmoved before Bender came up trumps with a superb reactive stop from Luka Jermagard's close-range product goal with a minute to play. What a save that was, by the way. Not only to save it, but to save it with his foot at an angle, so it went off to the side instead of straight back into the penalty area. It's you can say it was straight at him, but instinctively, to have your foot at an angle so it goes away. That was a fantastic save. Some big saves by Bender today. Wes Harding became a second half stoppage time substitute for the Lions as Leonard made way, with what seemed to be another injury, by the way, with Millwall able to see out the remaining time to win the match. So there you go. So the team was as follows: Bender, Leonard, Crammer, Cooper, Bryan, Negley, Luongo, Mazo Sacco, Amaku, Ballo and Coburn. The substitutes were Sturge, Taylor, Crocombe, Langstaff, Grant, Bangor Williams, Smallbone, Harding and Howland. And the subs that came on: Harding for Leonard in the 91st minute, 91st of 94. Sturge on for Bryan in the 78th minute. Langstaff on for Negley in the 78th minute. Smallbone on for Amaku in the 66th minute. And Taylor on for Ballo in the 77th minute. What can you say about the game? I mean, it was seemingly a game of two halves. I mean, we did score straight from a free kick, which Negley, I think he's now our top scorer with 2 goals. But apart from that, people getting on his back, which is understandable. He just doesn't look like he's not the most industrious of players, but he's got the spark. He can do things like that. Again, like I said, Bender, a few fantastic saves. Trying to pick a man of the match. I mean, I think they gave it to Luongo, but I mean, you could probably say Bender as well. You should say, it was. I'm not saying we played okay in the first half in spells, but something happened to them at half time. I don't really watch the opposition, so I'm not looking at what they're doing. When I watch a game of football, I'm looking at the Mill players and the Mill players on the ball, or when they're off the ball, and I'm looking, where they're moving, who's doing what, and that. I'm not really looking at the opposition, so I don't know what they changed at half time. But we were under the cosh at half time, and you're thinking you probably need to do something here because this isn't working, and they're probably going to score soon. So they did make the one change, a Maku for Smallbone, and then I think they moved a few pieces around and changed formation, which did kind of help out a bit. But when they made the changes later on the 78th minute, and I think went to a back three, that was even more, that kind of tipped it even more in our favour. Not that we were superb after that, but we did have our moments. Langstaff coming on, doing quite well. Should have had a penalty. What happened was he got in behind the guy, and the guy is running in, and he grabbed his arm and let go of it. So he grabbed his arm, yanked him, and let go of it, all in half a second. And then, so it looks like he just got touched and just fell over. So, no, he grabbed his arm, yanked it, and let go in the space of less than 1 second. So it looks like, there wasn't much there. But, that should have been a penalty. But, what can you do? What can you do? So, yeah. Poor performance, but, we did win the game. So, that's good. Moving on to this, also from millfc.co.uk, the club's official website. Monday Night Football at the Den. Mill defeated Watford 1-0. Yes, very nice. And here are the players. Some pictures. Let's have a look. There's the goal. Scored the goal. Watford wearing a weird kit there. They look like, what is that, Melchester Rovers kit? Roy of the Rovers. Why have they got so much red on their kit? Didn't it used to be black? I know. Oh, this is probably their away kit, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. Not for me. It's Ballo. Did alright. Derek Sacco. Again, Derek. Let's talk about Derek. Derek, again, pretty good, he was okay. I think if I watched the match back and watched just him, probably be impressed by him. But the thing is, and I've been thinking about it, like, why was it such a shock that he's as good as he is? And I think it's because, he come from the French second division, League 2, as they say. So I'm looking at the French top division, League 1, and I'm looking at that, and I'm going, well, that's not as good as the English top division. Well, how many leagues are? Like, that's probably the best division in the world. Top football club teams in the world in that division. In terms of money and supporters and interest and viewers, so there's that. So I'm comparing League 1 with the Premiership and thinking, so then I kind of go, well, in that case, then League 2 must not be as good as the Championship. But I have no proof of that. I have no other information to base it on other than I'm comparing League 1 with the Premiership. But here's the thing, how many times have English teams from the Premiership or the Championship play French teams in pre-season? Or it doesn't happen that often, and when it does, they don't get blown away. So, and here's the thing about the French division, a lot of players come out of the French leagues, the top division, and they go to England and they go elsewhere. So they can, they're making players. They just don't stay in France, probably because of the tax rules or whatever. They don't make enough money. There's no TV deal, so there's more money elsewhere, and that means higher wages elsewhere. So doesn't mean that you won't find any decent players in France still. I'm sure there's loads still there. So probably shouldn't have been surprised at how good Derek Mazusaku has been. And again, very good again today. Interesting. What's he talking to him about? I don't know. So, what's that done? This is from whoscored.com. It's the results. It's the winner last result of the match day weekend. And here's the table. It's too soon to look at the table. So what are you doing? Yeah, we're looking at the table, but it's too soon to look at the table. But we are looking at the table. We looked at it the other day, but if you look at Millwall now, so that win, fantastic. Scrappy win, ugly win, dirty win, still a win. Still means you get 3 points, which means we jump up into the top 10. Fantastic stuff, which to be in the top 10 after the start of the season that we've had so many injuries, all of that stuff. Losing Tanganga. The BFS has started to sulk about not making enough money. To be in the position that we're in, fantastic after all the problems that we've had. Gives us a good base to fix the problems we've got, and we can move on later on in the season. We've won 3 games, which is the same amount that we haven't won. We've drawn 1 and lost 2. Only scored 5 goals, conceded 7 on negative goal difference. But, good foundation to work on. We now go to Swansea away, which are, pretty similar. Right there, just below. They're one of the 2-2-2 teams. Pretty evenly balanced. Two wins, 2 defeats and 2 draws, which are all over here. So they lost away at Birmingham. They drew at home to Hull. They beat Sheffield Wednesday. So they only... Wow, so they got both of their wins against the two shittest teams in the league. This one and this one. So they might be in a bit of a false position. I guess we'll find out on Saturday, won't we? But yeah, it does look good. So we do have some post-match comments, quite late, but we do have them. This is from southwarknews.co.uk. 8 o'clock kickoff. It's too late. It's too late. I'm an old man now. It's too late. You saw some really good bits from us. Alex Neil gives thoughts on Mill's 1-0 win over Watford and reveals player was sick at half-time. Oh no. What was he physically sick or just felt unwell? Alex Neil gave his thoughts on Mill's 1-0 win over Watford on Monday, September the 22nd. The Lions took an early lead through Camille Negley's dipping free kick and looked likely to double their advantage in the first half, with Jacob and Josh Coburn both having chances. The Hornets had the better of much of the second half before Neil matched him up by switching to a back three, which gave his side more control and limited Watford's chances. Substitute Macaulay Langstaff had a penalty shout waved away late in the game before Watford had a late chance, with Luca Kermagard forcing out a point-blank save from Stephen Bender following a corner. Neil was pleased with his side's first half performance. The first half, you saw some really good bits from us. I thought our movement with the ball was good. We created some good chances in the first half, probably more frustrated. We didn't score more than one. I thought we got some good areas, and the one that stands out is maybe Josh's chance when it comes back and he puts it over the bar. And I thought we were good value, by the way. Second half, we had to dig in. I thought certainly in the last 20 minutes, the game became stretched and we got deeper. And you could see some of our lads tidying. We've got young Derek who's just come in and he's had to rely on to play on games, and we've got Ballo who's just come in to play games. Edomu was being sick at half time, so we had to get him through 15 minutes to try and take him off because Will and Makala are the only really ready to do 30 minutes each. So a few bits to juggle, kind of different bits. We changed shape at the end, and the ball wouldn't go out of play for about 5 minutes, so I couldn't change shape. But once the lads got in there, I think that after that they had that one chance on the corner, that Stephen makes a great save with his feet, which shouldn't really happen, but we've got about 7 6-foot lads in the middle of the box at that point, so we should probably win that header. But that was their chance to get back into the game, and thankfully for us, Stephen managed to save it. So that's interesting. Adomo Maka was sick at half time. Oh dear. What was that about? Too much Lucasade Extra? No, they have, what is it? They drink Carabao Sport. Too much Carabao Sport? Hopefully he's okay. That's interesting. Where did he just do it right there in the in the middle of the dressing room, the changing room, at his feet, and everyone's like, "Ooh, what the fuck?" No, so fair play to him, to come out in the second half, and they probably just told him, "Look, you've got to do 10 minutes." But it just goes to show you, how even though Emaku was sick at half time, they're like, "Oh no." The scientists, the medical people tell us we can't play Langstaff for more than 30 minutes because he might blow up. Yeah, he might break down. So, you're going to have to... It's literally like that cut and dry. It's like, oh, you can't play him for an extra 10? Oh, no, sorry, we can't do that. But you do wonder if it really is that, or they're just covering themselves. I don't know. Let's move on to this, also from southwarknews.co.uk, and also from Alex Neil. So you may have noticed no Ivanovic in the lineup, no Ivanovic on the sub bench. My God, what's going on? Well, the transfer window's closed, so he's not going off right now. Unless, is the Saudi window still open? Maybe it is. If he's after money, that's the place to go, innit? You won't win a bean, but you'll be rich as a dirty dog. So, what's going on? What is going on? Wouldn't we all like to know? Is this the truth or is this just the story? I don't know. Let's have a read of it and figure it out. Mihailo Ivanovic will likely not be sidelined by a shoulder injury for too long. Did he get a shoulder injury picking up a pen to sign his contract that they've thrown at him? Ivanovic, 20, was withdrawn at half-time of Millwall's Carabao Cup third-round tie against Crystal Palace last Tuesday, September the 16th, after getting into a collision shortly before the interval. The Lions took the game to penalties where they lost 4-2 in a shootout. Okay, so we all assumed, it wasn't mentioned, but we all assumed that they were just doing a half each. It was one up front, Ivanovic in the first half, Coburn in the second half. So that wasn't a plan, apparently. That's what they're telling us. And Ivanovic was probably going to play more, play 60? I don't know. The Serbian striker started Mill's first 5 league games before being left out of Neil's matchday squad for their 1-0 win over Watford on Monday. Neil was asked by the News at 10 after the game when he might be available for selection. So, okay. How did they know he was injured? Did he tell them? I don't think it'll be that long. It's one of those ones where they basically work on how uncomfortable he is. So that's, that'll be determined by him. Obviously, in terms of how that feels, he wasn't scheduled to come off at half time. He was then scheduled to play probably 75 minutes that game, and Josh would have come on at the end. But we had to take him off, and he'd done a ligament in his shoulder. Aha, so he wasn't supposed to come off at half time. He was supposed to play 75 minutes up against Palace, but he did get injured and he did come off at half time. So that's interesting. So they've covered that up clearly, He's done a ligament in his shoulder. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Now that is interesting. Why is that interesting? So who knew about that? Did anybody know about that? Because this morning we have this from EFLanalysis.com. I know it's not exactly the Chicago Sun Tribune, but this guy, Jacob Barnes, from this website wrote this piece, an opinion piece, saying Alex Neil could surprise us all at 7 p.m. tonight by dropping star striker versus Watford. And it's basically about dropping Ivanovic and bringing Langstaff in. So, again, did he know did this guy writing this know that Ivanovic was injured? And did he know that Langstaff was going to be in the squad? Because Langstaff has been out injured. I think they did tell us that he was back training, but Danny McNamara is back training, Jensen's back training. It's going to take a while for them to come back because they had longer injuries. But Langstaff's injury wasn't that long. So maybe, as soon as those players who have smaller injuries do go back to training, you could say they're available for at least be on the bench. Maybe for 30 minutes or so. So maybe it's not that much of a stretch to say what this guy's going to say. But let's read what he did say. So Millwall are not exactly firing all cylinders. Now this is in the morning, by the way. Monday the 22nd of September, today, 8:10 in the morning. Millwall are not exactly firing on all cylinders this season, so we could see Alex Neil make a major team selection choice tonight when his team face Watford. Last season, Millwall ended up being one of the surprise packages in the Championship. An impressive late run under Alex Neil saw the Lions narrowly miss out on a playoff spot. For many, Millwall touted as dark horses to be among that fight again this term, but things haven't quite gone to plan so far. They've not been bad, but 2 wins, 2 defeats and a draw is the kind of inconsistency Neil will want to avoid. We know Alex Neil is open to tactical changes too, and we think he will have a surprise in store for Watford on Monday night. And it says there, Mihailo Ivanovic out, Macaulay Langstaff in for Millwall. In our Championship score predictions for this week, we had Millwall versus Watford down for a score draw. If Neil wants to have the advantage, he may need to shake things up in attack. While his 12 goals were crucial to Mill's efforts last season, we've not seen the best of Mihailo Ivanovic this term. Last time out against Charlton Athletic, the Serbian forward failed to register a shot, had just 23 touches and had a dual success rate of just 27%. Replacing him with the more experienced, more Route 1 option of Macaulay Langstaff might sound counterintuitive, but sometimes you have to go back to basics to get things done. There's no denying Ivanovic is the better player. However, bringing in Langstaff, who will be hungry to prove himself, could work wonders. It also wouldn't hurt to give Ivanovic a motivational kick by dragging him to the bench. And then they go on some other stuff. So, what, how, it's kind of weird thing to write in the morning. So, did this guy know that he was injured? But he's saying like he's going to get dropped to the bench, not dropped out overall. So, is he injured? Like, you have to say Alex. I wouldn't call Alex Neil a liar, but I don't think he is a liar. I think he's probably telling us the truth. But what's going on here? Why is this guy writing this story, and it basically came true? Now, could it just been luck? But is someone leaking? Is there a leak? And that's not the only bit of funny business, because we also had this, which was put up today. So apparently he's been complaining about not getting enough money, which may be the reasons why we did get news that he fired his Serbian agent, or the agent that got him over from Serbia, and got a new agent, which what's that about? And part of that, the reason for that, is that he wants more money because he came over. He got offered junior terms. His wages aren't that much compared to the rest of the players in the first team. It's a lot more than what he was getting in Serbia, that's for sure. So obviously, when you get offered more money, you're like, oh wow, this is fantastic. Then when you come over and you see the players that you're playing with and against in the league, they're getting a lot more than what you're getting. So even more than the more that you're already getting. So maybe they can make you a bit salty. So I don't know. But this is from the 72.co.uk. Significant update emerges on Millwall star contract talks. Mihailo Ivanovic has emerged as a key Millwall asset since signing last summer, so a new contract has been in the offing. Millwall hope to agree a new contract with Mihailo Ivanovic this week, with talks advancing as per the Football League World. Yes, an exclusive from Football League World, but I'm bringing it you from the 72.co.uk. Millwall had started the 25-26 campaign quite as strongly as had hoped, but many at the Den retain high hopes. Alex Neil is contending with a number of notable injury blows, especially in midfield. When he has more players at his disposal, it will be hoped the Lions can push towards the upper echelons of the Championship. It will be hoped returning stars can get the best out of striker Mihailo Ivanovic, whose slow start to the campaign may have disappointed some. Nevertheless, the Millwall talent remains very highly regarded, and the South London club have been eager to reflect that with a new contract agreement. Now Football League World has been offered an update on the proceedings. They state that talks between the Lions and Ivanovic are now at an advanced stage, with hope that an agreement can be finalised as soon as this week. It is not known how long the 21-year-old striker's currently contract runs for, and Millwall will hope to keep a lid on things with this new deal too. However, it will be expected to consist of a slight extension with improved financial terms to reflect his value. So again, he gets a wage increase. They maybe add another year on. I don't know. And maybe they try to put in a release clause, which similar thing of Essay, but then the way Essay's going at Palace, is that gonna affect the reputation of Millwall players being, well, maybe they're not that good, but that's I don't know. And then it just talks about speculation. So yeah, funny business. Dropped. Injured. I think injured. I think he probably is injured now. They did say, the reason for him pulling out of the Serbian under-21s, although it wasn't announced that he'd have dropped out. It wasn't officially announced by us or by them that he had dropped out. And then they showed pictures of him in training. They were saying that he was carrying a slight knock. That was the rumours. Apparently, that was mentioned by the commentators who did the game in Serbia, and that was relayed through a Serbian football page on Twitter. The reason why he's not there because he had a slight knock. So yeah, but again, it's all very weird and bizarre, falling off like that, If you want more money, just score some goals and keep playing. You'll get it. Like you get it this year, you get it next year. Whenever you get it, you're gonna get it. And if you keep scoring goals, you'll get even more. Because bigger clubs will come in for you. Yeah. But don't worry about that. Worry about the craft. Hone your craft, and the rewards will come. Simple as. Now, there's a game tomorrow. It's an under-21 game. It's being held at Calmont Road. So you won't be able to watch it, but obviously we'll take an interest to see who will play. I wonder if any of the players on the bench that didn't feature today will play. Namely, Bangor, Williams, Grant, Howland. Whether they will play or whether it's probably a bit too late, no? I don't know. Millwall under-21s taking Colchester United in the Professional Development League on Tuesday afternoon. Kick-off at 1 p.m. The Lions were victorious last time out at home, defeating Huddersfield Town, but now must continue to pick up the results that will take them away from the lower reaches of the South Division table. Colchester, meanwhile, are in 6th place with 3 wins from their opening 6 fixtures, and updates from the match will be available at Mill Academy. So, again, there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.